All right, let's talk about a super critical tool that, honestly, most early-stage founders just ignore. They think it's something for way down the road. Yep, I'm talking about the pre-product data room.
You know the drill, right? This is what everyone thinks. A data room, that's for later. It's that thing you frantically pull together when you've got revenue, you've got users, a real product, and, VCs are suddenly calling you for a Series A.
Well, guess what? That's not how early-stage fundraising works anymore. The game has totally changed, especially if you're a technical founder building something complex, like in AI or deep tech. These days, investors expect to see real clarity, proof of your thinking, right from day one.
So, okay, we need to rethink this whole data room thing. It's time for a new mindset. This isn't some chore you put off for later. It's a strategic asset you can use right now.
I know, this probably sounds a little backward. You're probably thinking, wait a minute, I don't have users, I don't have revenue, what am I even supposed to show? But that's exactly the point. When there are no hard metrics for an investor to look at, they scrutinize everything else even harder. They're looking at your logic, your planning, your foresight, basically your judgment.
And this brings us to the most important mindset shift. We've got to stop seeing the data room as just some dusty folder full of legal docs. Instead, we need to see it as what it really is, a powerful, compelling story about your company.
I mean, look at the difference here. A folder is reactive. It's messy. It's something you throw together at the last minute because you have to. It feels like homework, right? But a story is intentional, it's clear, it sends a massive signal about how professional you are, and more importantly, how you think. It's the ultimate show-don't-tell for your startup's DNA.
So here's the bottom line. Investors are using your data room as a lens right into your brain. If it's messy and vague, they're going to assume your thinking is messy and vague. But if it's sharp, focused, and thoughtful, then they see a founder who's serious, who's organized, and who can actually execute.
So what exactly is it signaling? Well, it tells them you've actually done the work, that you've thought ahead and anticipated their questions. It shows you're not just working on a cool project, you're building a real company. And maybe most importantly, it proves your big idea has been pressure tested, that you've already asked yourself the hard questions.
Okay, let's flip this around for a second. Let's put on our investor hat. When they click that link and open your data room, what are they actually looking for?
And here's something that should be a huge relief. They are not looking for fancy graphics or some 100-page, perfectly polished business plan. No, they're looking for logic. They're hunting for clear, defensible reasoning. They want to see the thinking that's happening behind the scenes. And they're usually digging into a few key areas, like how do you really think about your market? What's your actual tech edge, and is it defensible? What's your roadmap, your path forward, even just for the next 6 months? And this is a big one. How do you approach risk? How do you make trade-offs? Your data room is where you show your work for all of that. And look, if you're building something technically deep, this next question is absolutely critical. Have you protected what really matters? Your moat, your defensibility. It's not your brand, it's not a pretty UI, it's the IP. It's the secret sauce under the hood.
And hey, this doesn't mean you need a whole portfolio of issued patents. Not at all. It can be as simple as a draft of a provisional patent, or even just a short, clear memo outlining your IP strategy and making it clear who owns what. That simple little document, it shows an investor you get it. You understand what your most valuable asset really is.
All right, so we get the why. That's the mindset shift. Now let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. And the good news is, building one of these does not have to be this giant, overwhelming project. It's all about being smart and focused.
Really, it all boils down to 3 core principles. First, focus on what you can prove right now. Look, at this stage, you're not trying to wow anyone with big numbers. You're building trust through clarity. So every single thing you include should answer a key question. What makes my team credible? What makes this idea valuable? And what makes this company truly fundable?
Okay, principle number 2 is to tell your story with structure. Just look at this example. See how simple that is? It's not a maze of folders. It's logical. It uses plain language. An investor can click right in and find the one-pager, the tech roadmap, the IP strategy, whatever they need, instantly. When it's this easy, they can focus on your ideas, not on digging through a messy folder.
And that leads us perfectly to principle number 3. Prioritize clarity, not volume. So many founders fall into this trap. They think that the more documents they cram in there, the more serious they'll look. But it's actually the opposite. A giant, bloated data room just creates confusion. It can even signal that you're afraid of the tough questions. What really builds trust and gets an investor excited? Transparency. Just giving clear, direct answers.
But here's the real kicker. The biggest, most powerful reason to build a data room early, honestly, it has almost nothing to do with investors. This is a tool for you.
I want you to think of it like a mirror. When you hold up this mirror to your company, when you actually go through the process of gathering and organizing everything, it forces you to confront your blind spots. You immediately see where your thinking is a little thin, what tough questions you've been avoiding, or, where you and your co-founder might not be on the same page.
And the internal benefits are just massive. You're building good habits, real operational discipline from day one. It creates a single source of truth for the whole team, which cuts down on so much confusion. It forces you and your co-founders to get aligned on strategy. And hey, when you go to make those first critical hires, you've got an onboarding kit ready to go, getting them plugged into the vision instantly. It just reduces the chaos.
All right, let's bring it all home with the biggest takeaway here. This is about more than just a folder of documents. It's about building a system for being ready.
Because here's the thing. A great data room doesn't just make you look ready. The very process of building it makes you more ready. It forces you to sharpen your story, to clean up your assumptions, and to get out ahead of all those tough questions that, let's be honest, you're going to have to face eventually. You end up being clearer and more confident in every single conversation because you've already done the hard work.
And honestly, this is the mentality that separates the best founders from everyone else. They don't wait until they're desperate to get organized. They build the systems for success from the beginning. They don't just react to things. They stay ready.
So I'll leave you with that thought. Your data room really is a mirror. The real question is, what's it going to show you? What gaps will you find? Because finding them now and fixing them, that's your first step toward building a much stronger, much more fundable company.